to the channel. It's your boy King Phillip, and let's talk about Kang. Well, hold on. We'll get to Kang in a minute. Let me just run down my good, bad, and ugly. That'll help me kind of sort out what I thought about the film. So, ugly. There's nothing ugly about this movie necessarily. Well, you can kind of say MODOK is kind of ugly technically, but at the same time, I think they did what they could with the character, and I don't think it was that bad. I mean, the CGI probably was a little off or whatever, but the character wasn't that jarring, and he kind of fit into the story, and they actually, I felt, did him justice, because if you compare how he is on the little claymation show that he has on Hulu or Peacock or whatever that's on, I think it's on Hulu, and just how silly the character was on Superhero Squad, it's kind of like they played into that because the character is very odd. So I like that it was kind of, it kind of felt goofy, but at the same time there was some seriousness to the character. So I like that about that. If anything, if I had to say anything was ugly, meaning anything that I hate about the film, right? Or just, so it frustrates me about the film. It's a good thing that frustrates me about the film, and that's the ending. I'm so curious on wanting to see what is going to happen, because it seems like Scott knows that he probably did the wrong thing in this case. I mean, given they did it very well to kind of establish that Kang is, you don't know whether to tell if he's good or bad, because there's so many variants, you don't know which one you get yourself into. And the whole time he was talking, it kind of felt like this might be the Kang from the Loki series reincarnated, and he's understanding that he has to go destroy these other Kangs and create the one timeline. So it feels like this is him, but they don't really just straight out say that that's him. It feels like he was telling the truth about the other Kangs and stuff or whatever, and that he was having to destroy them because of that. And it might be a problem if he never gets out of the quantum realm, because everything may go haywire. And it seems, and it's a frustrating thing, which I'm just sarcastically calling it ugly, but it's a frustrating thing, but at the same time, it's a very intriguing thing, where it's making me want to see what is going to come up. Because if I had to theorize on what that ending was supposed to be, I got a feeling Kang is going to go away, all the other Kangs are going to come and start wreaking havoc on the multiverse, and in order to save the multiverse, Ant-Man is going to figure out that he got to go back and go try to get Kang, or maybe even save him out of a time loop of some sort or whatever, or he goes more subatomically than subatonically to go find him in the little void that they might have trapped him in. So ugly, nothing ugly about the film. Bad, some of the Cassie Lane stuff, that stuff got, like, she almost damn near got on my nerves, man. Like, she was just sitting up there just being a spoiled brat, but kind of like a necessary spoiled brat or something. I don't know. But she was kind of getting on my nerves, and then some of the dialogue speeches with her, especially the little speech at the end where she's trying to rally the troops, she sounded stupid. I'm just keeping it real. but other than that, and MODOK, just a tad bit, just the way he looked a little bit. Oh, and some of the it was one of the jokes. Yeah, the guy Quays or whatever. Man, his character was damn near annoying, man, at first. But he had some little moments too with his jokes. But he was damn near annoying with his exchange with Scott Lang when they first landed in the quantum realm, man. He was. But I don't know. I don't think it's nothing else that was too bad. Yeah, I don't. If I come up with something else that's bad, I'll just throw it at the end. So let's talk about the good, man. Let's just talk about the good. Jonathan Majors as Kang. Like, it didn't feel like he was overacting. It just felt like he was deep in his role, man. Almost like, and somebody probably be hearing this like, man, you tripping, man. But almost like Heath Ledger's Batman. Like, that's how it felt like he was, you know, so much of the character himself. Like, whatever real struggle that Kang has suffered, it's almost like Jonathan Majors went and watched the whole documentary on who Kang was and started, you know, just evoking those emotions that he saw from whatever the Kang documentary was. Like, whatever his conviction was, like his conviction to go destroy the other Kangs because of what they're doing and how strongly he felt about it, but conflicted that he had to go do something like that. Like, you just read it on him, and that he was so militant minded about getting it done. Like, you just felt it. Jonathan Majors made you feel that. Like, and after hearing him talk about the character a little bit in a small interview where he was asked about the character, thinking about how he went about the character, like thinking about where all this character has traveled, a man of many languages, has seen many civilizations, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does one like that carry himself? And I think he presented that well, because he carried himself like a person who's above everybody else, like royalty of some sort. And that makes me think, in which, since Nathaniel Richards is thought to be a descendant of Reed Richards and of Dr. Doom too, and I think we see like something as close as Dr. Doom in the post-credit scenes with one of the Kang variants. But it just made me think, man, whoever is going to play Dr. Doom has to bring this same level of acting to the role. Like, you have to feel like this guy is just, not only is he, I don't want to say conceited, but this guy just feels like there's nothing you can do to stop him, and he knows that there's nothing you can do to stop him. And the overall regal royalty that he just exudes. Like, whoever plays Dr. Doom, this is who they got to try to beat. Like, you got to look at Jonathan Majors Kang and go from there. But Jonathan Majors killed it. I love the subtleness of his movements. But one of the videos I saw where they were talking about that, I think it was New Rockstar, and the way that he was controlling Scott with his fingers and just, yeah. Now I will say, okay, I was gonna say this to later, but I think I haven't seen a lot of complaints about the movie, but I seen some people talking about how it felt like he was depowered. My thought on that is, he had nothing but his suit, so there was only so much he was gonna be able to do with that suit. You know, granted, he built the whole freaking empire in the quantum realm with it, but I think the power level of what he was able to use was fitting for the quantum realm, but nothing coming from outside with better technology. And so his technology might have just been dated, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you got to think about the other Kangs. They exiled. Why would you exile him with a possibility, knowing the possibility probably, that he could get out, but using something that he could use to get out? Like, you got to kind of take away all the possibilities of him being able to have some kind of tech that he can get out and come destroy the rest of the Kangs. Like, I don't think he would have been in there with the potential of having just this crazy power. I think that the power source that he needed to travel, yeah, that's high grade technology, but I don't think he was highly powered as you would think. Like, he was powered enough to enslave the people of that realm, but not enough to really go to war. He would have probably had to travel out of the go in time and find some better tech to fight. And that's why I think the ants probably beat him, because with them passing through that vortex and creating a civilization that was so advanced to be what they were, I think their tech was just probably greater than Kang's was for that point in time. Kang was just not at full power like he should be, being that he was stuck with limited resources. So that's my, take on I think the complaint about Kang being depowered. Like, that's what I take from it. And on top of that, I think it was an even match with that being said with Ant-Man and his tech or whatever. So But he did look a little bit overpowered when they flew at him. He just thumped him to the side. So I don't know, but that's my take for it. It didn't really take me out of the movie that he was beaten so easily. It kind of made sense if he's going against high-tech ass ants, like, and it's a swarm. He fought off, but it's only so much he can do. And then if you know anything about Iron Man suits, they're not just totally invincible. They have a certain power, I guess, usage that they can get to, and then they just conk out. That was part of the problem in Iron Man 3. His suit, he only had half a suit, or suits tore up or whatever, but yeah. But anyway, that was good. Jonathan Majors great. The other standout person, Bill Murray. Bill Murray was hilarious. The way that he was talking to Hank, talking about Janet to Hank's face and just throwing all these innuendos, like he been hitting skins with Janet while she was stuck down there. Hey man, that was cringy hilariousness. Like, he stole the show when he showed up. I thought he might have a couple corny lines. Hey man, those lines were great. He was hilarious. And I'd say the overall comedic tone of this movie was great. I think the only scene, like I said a minute ago about the bad, I think the only scene that I can really remember that really had that comedic tone that didn't really fit is the convo between Quays, or whatever his name is, the little black dude, with Paul Rudd when they first landed to the quantum realm. That exchange was a little dull, but other than that, there's a lot of jokes that actually work. So I don't know, but I love the comedic tone of it. It reminded me of Iron Man, like, type comedy, short quips, and seeing one guy's reaction when the movie first came out after the premiere or whatever. This guy was saying how if you like Ragnarok, you'll like this movie. I can tell. This movie really had the Ragnarok kind of comedy to it too, where it's a little bit on the edge, but not over and enough to really make you or take you out of the movie. Especially the little jellyfish Jar Jar Binks. Like, that character right there tripped me out when he first came out. I was like this is either gonna work or it's gonna be terrible. It kind of worked. It's like they had these comedic bits that seemed like they were going to be over the top, but they actually just worked, and you got a real laugh out of it. Janet Van Dyne, and let me just say, Hope Van Dyne, she was okay. She did a good. Angelina Lilly, she did okay in the movie. You know what I'm saying? She didn't really have a big role. I think I seen some people complaining about that, but her role's alright. Michelle Pfeiffer, hey man, I don't know if she doing the stunts or whatever, but they damn sure got a good body double if she's not, cause that looked like her moving around or whatever. But they had Janet Van Dyne kicking ass, like she was, I don't know man, like she ain't nobody to play with. She damn near like Black Widow or something, but she was kicking ass in this movie. I'll add this to another bad thing. I didn't like how they drew out or strung along the whole thing where she was afraid to tell him about Kane. Like, it worked story-wise for the point in time when she told him. But it was like, man, like hearing, like by the time, it was like about the third or fourth time that Hope was trying to ask her mama about Kane. She's like, you just gotta trust me. You just gotta trust me. Like, just tell him. Like, go ahead, girl. Just tell him what it is, man. Michael Douglas. Now, in the trailers, Michael Douglas didn't seem bad off, but in the movie, man, he looked kind of sick. Like, like I didn't know how to take that, man. I was just like, he just looked like he's kind of struggling to get through this role. But I'll say his character kind of brought it midway to the end of the movie. His interactions with Bill Murray character after he, I guess you could say, killed him, but for talking smack about his wife or whatever. But one thing about Hank Pym that tripped me out the whole movie was his responses to his reactions to the crazy stuff he saw, the crazy broccoli man he saw.
Holy, that guy looks like broccoli.
And then when he saw Darren Cross, he was like, oh shit.
Holy.
Like, his responses were hilarious. Some of the action in this movie was dope. Seeing Kane turn that fire coming from that dude or whatever that was, whirling around and throwing it back at him, killing him. That one little warrior chick from the Quantum Realm Freedom Fighters, the way that she was killing folks and it was spreading them apart and they were stuck in like a frozen in time position or whatever, that was dope. I thought that was a little nice way to display those kills. Oh yeah, the way that they were traveling through the quantum realm, man, it's nice to see how they design these instances where they either traveling through the quantum realm or traveling through the multiverse. You know, that's one of my favorite parts of Multiverse of Madness, the way they traveling through the multiverse. In this movie, the way that they traveling self-atomically, that was dope. Like, it's great visuals or whatever, especially if you had a little bit of drink. The after credit scenes, dope. Not really crazy scenes, but I think it was just so dope to see the Council of Kings and how they were showing everybody arriving with that technology that Reed Richards had in Multiverse of Madness, which is kind of like on par to say that, hey, there's a Doctor Doom somewhere, and then you see a Kane that kind of looked like a Doctor Doom knockoff or something. Like, he was dope. The first three Kanes, Ramatut and the Centurion, and I forgot the other dude name. That was a dope thing. But hearing what they were saying though, it sounds like they're gonna start running more of them up, and somebody's got to go get the Kane that was the exile Kane and pull him back out of that, wherever the hell he got struck down to. Like, yeah, he got effed up. But yeah, that was dope, and seeing how it was so comic book accurately, from showing the guys in the stadium celebrating that they were getting to see the OG Kanes or whatever. And I'm wondering if Jonathan Majors actually acted each one of those parts out individually. If he did, man, like, Jesus, hats off, bro. Like, woo, boy, that's a lot of hard work. Unless they had like multiple people there and they kind of like deep faked his face on other people. Yeah, that was a dope scene. And then the last post-credit scene, that was dope too. Clearly, you know, all things would point to the idea that you would see Victor Timely in the second season of Loki with them traveling back to the past. And I forgot, it was some kind of leaked part of the story where it kind of, you could tell they were going to end up running into Victor Timely. So, and tell me this, man. So they admitted, side note, back to Janet. So they admitted that Janet was down there probably messing with Krylor, right? Bill Murray character. But am I tripping, or did it seem like her and Kane probably had something too, but they didn't want to say that? Like Kane had a nice woman down in the corner room. Like, yeah, man. Overall, man, I like the movie. I don't know why people didn't like it. I have no idea, but the movie is dope. It ain't one of the best movies, but the movie is dope. Like, it has great visuals, some good action, a lot of good dialogue and world building. I think that's what people are not really appreciating enough, because they could have just came and just threw a lot of, and maybe they did, maybe I'm tripping, but they could have came and just threw a lot of exposition that didn't really mean nothing, or did very little, and just showed you a whole bunch of stuff that you're trying to figure out how did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? But they're carefully explaining this stuff because in future movies, I'm guessing it's going to play a bigger role of knowing why this Kane is how he is, and how is that going to play into the overall big picture. Because like I told you, man, I think this Kane is the Kane that's going to come back and end the multiversal war in like Kane Dynasty or whatever. But I got a feeling they're going to have to go back and get this guy. Yeah, man, let me know what y'all thought in the comments, man. I loved it, man. And maybe I probably liked it a lot because I saw it in IMAX 3D and I got the visual eye candy and all that stuff. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe if I saw it regular, I'd probably be like, it was alright. Because I can see that too. Because that's how I felt about Thor Love and Thunder. The best part was just seeing it in 3D and stuff. So, But if you see your man, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.